Overnight, North Queensland cut off as floodwaters keep rising with more rain on the way. Risk takers run the gauntlet as the big wet causes mayhem on the roads. Thousands hit the shops for a post-Christmas bargain. And Australia's shame all out for 98 in the Boxing Day Test.
This is 7 News with Talitha Cummins.
Good evening. Heavy rain is lashing many parts of Queensland as the effects of ex-tropical Cyclone Tasha spread throughout the state. The sugar town of Ingham has been inundated by floods, which are still rising in several places. North Queensland could be cut off at Cardwell for 3 days. Reporter Erin Edwards is there. Erin, when will the water start to fall?
Talitha, the Herbert River peaked at 12 metres this morning, but the main floodwaters coming down from the tablelands won't arrive until tomorrow. If more heavy rain falls, more houses could be swamped. Underwater and overwhelmed. The Herbert burst its banks at dawn, 12 metres of floodwater roaring down from the mountains inland, flooding some homes, but mainly businesses.
It's just Mother Nature, we can't control it. It doesn't matter what happened this year, the rain's been coming left, right and centre, so just got to deal with it day by day.
But they're tough up here, they've seen worse, they're used to this.
Well, they should be, they've had enough of it this last 5 years.
The SES has been ferrying the stranded to safety, a community pitching in to help each other out. The rapid rise even caught wildlife by surprise and may have brought some crocs with it too. Stranded tourists have lost their sense of humour. They sit and wait or inspect the floodwaters.
We're stuck here at the moment. No food at all.
On Hinchinbrook Island, 5 hikers were rescued. Missing for days, they rode out Cyclone Tasha in tents and a toilet block.
We get the door down and we build a camp on the thing because we get a $20 tent or something else. It was leaking from everywhere.
The 3 teenage backpackers lived off noodles.
10 packs of noodles, that was great, like the best Christmas dinner ever.
They were stranded for 4 nights by rising rivers, alone on an island, half a world away from home in France and Germany.
We ran out of insect repellents on the second day.
On Christmas Eve, a hiker from the mainland found them.
I would consider them extremely lucky under the circumstances. Not everyone gets to sit through a cyclone, whether it's Category 1 or Category 5 on an island.
They'd been given permits to visit the national park, despite weather warnings before they left.
We just learned that there has been a cyclone. We didn't know.
I bet they're freaking out, but I definitely need to call my mum.
The state is severed at Cardwell between Townsville and Cairns.
Order up, Benj.
Stranded travellers had Boxing Day breakfast at the only shop open, a service station.
They just get irate. You can't do anything about it, you just got to sit it out.
The Barbagallos spent Christmas night in their car on the highway.
We were going to the Woodford Folk Festival and we were looking forward to it. It was kind of our Christmas present to everyone.
The Bruce Highway won't reopen here for 3 days, cutting off Cairns and the Cape from the rest of the state.
Down Seymour, there's enough to cover your bonnet.
The only way out is north.
I'm trying to get to work in WA.
Or by air. Talitha, police are advising travellers to return home. The Western Highway is cut too. Soon, supermarkets and stores north of Ingham will run out of supplies. Talitha?
Hopefully not for too long. Thanks, Erin. Well, the big wet is causing havoc right along the Queensland coast, with residents from Townsville to Bundaberg swamped by flash flooding. Emergency crews are being kept busy as people ignore warnings and take dangerous risks around swollen waterways.
South of Townsville and the streets of Garoo disappeared as floodwaters took over. Police were stationed at inundated roads while drivers carefully crossed. In Mackay, some weren't so careful. Near Gladstone, and many locals trying to pass this bridge at Beecher were stuck for hours.
Bridge is under, we can't go home, we can't go forward.
We're all trying to get back to Billawilla. We've got properties at home that need animals fed on them, and we're here.
In Bundaberg, drivers continue to ignore the warnings and risk driving on flooded roads.
Okay, so your vehicle's gone down there somewhere. And no one else in the car? No.
This motorist drove past the signs to take a photo of the fast-running water.
Unfortunately, because of the speed of the current, his car has been taken into the water. It's overturned and he's been fortunate to escape.
Police say he was lucky not to drown. He managed to climb out an open window. The vehicle is somewhere in there.
Okay, just let your mum know what's happening, all right? She'll be happy you're alive more than worried about a car.
In the CBD, businesses prepared for the rising waters as best they could.
I've been up here in Bundy for 10 years now. Haven't seen water like this at all.
Some managed to salvage stock and move it to higher, drier ground.
We're lucky enough to have a few volunteers which come along to help us out.
Rain has been constant in Bundaberg since Christmas Eve, and it's not about to let up. The Bureau predicts another 200 millimetres will fall in the region over the next 2 days. The Burnett River could reach its highest peak in close to 40 years. These three hope the big wet doesn't hang around too long.
Boys, what do you think of all the wet weather?
Bad, but fine, if you had a swim. Yeah.
Michael Scanlon, 7 News.
The wet conditions have contributed to a number of serious accidents across the southeast. A man was killed in a 4-car collision which closed the Bruce Highway for hours.
A tragic end to Christmas celebrations. The driver of this car was killed when 4 cars collided at Beerburrum. He was aged in his 70s.
A fairly nasty impact. It's pushed the drivers and passengers' door right back onto him.
The northbound lanes of the Bruce Highway were closed for 3 hours, bringing traffic to a standstill. Southbound lanes were reduced to a crawl.
They've got to slow down, keep their distances a lot further than in normal roads, and we just want everyone to get home safely.
At Mapleton, several people were injured after 2 cars hit head-on. Another car slammed into the vehicle, spilling oil onto already slippery roads.
The injuries appear to be chest, head and some other severe injuries due to the impact.
It's been a lot worse, probably because it is wet. People are driving to the conditions, they're slowing down, so which has minimised the injuries.
In Brisbane, continuous rain has once again caused localised flooding. The catchments are overflowing too. One gate has been reopened at Wivenhoe Dam to empty the flood compartment. And there's more to come. 100 millimetres of rain is expected to drench southeast Queensland tonight. It's set to linger for a few days, dumping 200 millimetres of rain, but we could see a reprieve soon.
Good news is later in the week we're expecting a bit of a clearance into New Year's, so hopefully a chance to get outdoors for New Year's Eve.
Tracy Moran, 7 News.
Heavy rainfall across the state is expected to continue into the week. Tomorrow, the remains of ex-tropical Cyclone Tasha will move inland. And as you can see, there'll be a band of rain stretching from the central highlands to southeast Queensland. Rain, showers and storms will continue over the southeast and spread westwards into the southern interior. Towns from Longreach to Roma are on standby for devastating floods.
There's high rain and severe weather patterns to come yet.
At this stage, Brisbane is likely to have a fine New Year's Eve.